Carl Edwards, Casey Mears, and Matt Kenseth at Chicagoland. The caution has just come out. Paul Menard has hit the wall. Jamie McMurray also involved in an incident on the track. There's a 64 of McMurray.
And it might have all started with Dale Earnhardt Jr. No, he was up there in front.
I think 11's going to get just a little bit loose. The Denny Hamlin got underneath. Did touch him, but did take the air off him.
They were separate instances.
Wow, that was close.
So where did McMurray get?
He's in front of the 11. Did you see that?
He was?
Yes.
Yeah, there he is. And he's got all kinds of damage.
So there's Menard into the wall. McMurray was the 64 car that was in front of him. That was a nice. David Green dashed down pit road.
This is going to be a good shot. Here's the board, Denny Hamlin. See, he gets right underneath him, but he never touches him. Just takes the air off that spoiler. Now let's see if we can see what happened up front.
We'll keep looking for a replay, trying to find out what happened to Jamie McMurray.
Meanwhile, at the same time all that was going on, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car had driven on the pit road complaining about smoke in the car.
Alan?
Yeah, Bill, Dale Jr. just went through this long discussion. He was getting ready to make a pit stop under green when that crash happened behind him. He thought the right front tire on his car was going down. Then when the caution came out, he detailed that to Tony Eury Sr. and then talked about some liquid that's running down the right front post where the roof connects to the hood and the door on that car. So they're bringing the car down pit road. He said, you're going to have to look at it. There's smoke in the car. There's liquid running down it. I can't figure out what it is. Here he comes for them to look at it, and we'll get a report from them once he leaves, and they have an understanding of what it might be.
Well, if he's complaining about a right front tire, then obviously he's getting some liquid out on that right front tire, and that's making it slide across the racetrack, giving the false impression that the tire was flat.
They work on the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. You saw the one crew member taking a look at that post. Now they go around to the right side to take another look.
Just gave the okay sign.
Pace car is still on the backstretch, getting ready to move into turn 3, so they've got a lot of time to look at it here.
That right front looked dry too when they pulled it off.
So they continue to look at the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. The lucky dog under this caution goes to Tony Stewart. We'll be back on the lead lap when we go back to racing. TNT Sports is live at the Chicagoland Speedway, NASCAR Busch Series Racing. 75 laps to go. A number of things happening. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back on pit road. A commitment cone violation. Pulls into his stall. The team will go to work. They're going to go under the hood this time. See if they can find the source of the problems that Alan had documented for us. Alan, what's going on now?
Well, Bill, they're checking the suspension to see if something has worked its way loose and is rubbing on one of the tires. While you're looking at the car on pit road, also have a picture back here behind pit wall of the right front tire that came off the car last time. You see this groove? It's run all the way around the circumference of the tire. That hasn't been on any of the tires that have come off this car all day. That's why they brought Junior back in. They want to know what's rubbing that right front and maybe causing some of these problems. Marty?
Well, Alan, Jamie McMurray is back in the garage, and you say something was going on with you in the 59 car. What was happening?
Well, the 59, I'm not sure what his situation was, but he was a lap down, and I don't know. It's one thing when you're trying to get you're the lucky dog or trying to be the lucky dog and trying to race some guys, but there was 7 or 8 cars in front of him, and so just I'm trying to get by him, and in the middle of me trying to get by him, I got passed by 3 or 4 cars and got frustrated with him, and I was just going to pull up beside him at the yellow and just ask him what was going on. And when I got up beside him, I just got hooked in the right rear and ended up in the wall. It's been a very long weekend for me so far. I tore up a cup car, 3rd lap of practice, and then had a pretty good car here. Unfortunate, USG sponsoring the race today and tomorrow, and had a cool looking car till that.
He said he was trying to tell Stacy Compton what he thought about him racing him harder than he thought he should, and when he did that, Stacy wrecked him. So that's what Jamie was saying back here in the garage.
Stacey Compton is 1 lap down. We're back to green in the USG Durock 300. Kurt Busch continues to lead. And Jeff Burton has been strong all day. Now we'll see if he can get to the front.
Well, let's see if he can keep Carl Edwards behind him. I think that's going to be a bigger problem than trying to get to the front and pass Kurt Busch.
Burton in the 29, Edwards in the 60. An update on the 8 from AB.
Yeah, I just talked to Tony Uri Sr., the crew chief there, Bill. They lifted the hood on that second stop, did not see anything rubbing on that right front tire. He said we'll find out here in a little bit, but they've sent Junior back out. He's fallen to 16th.
You know what, Bill? You might have been correct. The 29 car might be going to go up and race with the 39 of Kurt Busch. That last lap, he was faster than Kurt Busch and about a quarter of a second faster than Carl Edwards. We got more trouble.
That's Bernie Lamar in the 77. Caution is out.
Jerry Robertson, 78, going around.
Going quick as you can, bud. We just had a little loop off of 2 over there. We'll be okay. Didn't hit nothing.
Just a little loop off 2.
At what? About 180 miles an hour?
150 or so.
See what we can see here.
Yellow car right in the center of the screen. Around Bernie goes.
Ooh, good job, Bobby Labonte. 66 car.
On board with Denny Hamlin.
Still there.
He said, thank goodness he didn't back up the racetrack.
Denny Hamlin's had a good view of a lot of things today.
We've seen a lot of action from inside that 20 car today.
Gonna see if the leaders come to pit road. The field moving through turns 3 and 4.
We're getting to a situation that somebody's going to pit and try to go the rest of the way because there's going to be 70 laps to go. Let's see. Here comes the 29.
So Kurt Busch does not come in, but Jeff Burton does. Casey Mears, Dave Burns.
And the Casey Mears teams think they may be able to go to the end on fuel with this stop. No changes to the chassis on it. 4 tires all the way around for Casey in the 42. Mark.
Well, the car, Clint Boyer's coming in pretty quickly to pit road. They're going to go up half around on the track bar of the car. Just a little bit too tight for Clint. 4 tire change, Alan.
Jeff Burton pits, and they're going to make a 4 tire change on this car. They can make it to the finish on fuel from here, according to crew chief Pat Smith on the radio to Jeff. Jeff said, do whatever you need to do for us to win. That's what they're trying to do here in Chicagoland. Caution out. Right now, the race lead in the hands of Kurt Busch. We'll come back with more on TNT in a minute.
So you want to be a race car driver. Here's Denny Hamlin's day. Lap number 1, turn 2. He's around. You're riding with him. And go ahead, BP.
He was following Paul Menard, the 11 car. Menard Spence right in front of him.
Saw Jamie McMurray and Stacey Compton get into together.
Bernie Lamar goes around right in front of him. Stay down there. Thank you. I'm okay. I wonder what's going to happen next. Well, we're about to find out because the field is coming to get the green. With 18 cars on the lead lap. Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth among those that did not pit.
And I tell you what, those 3 cars that you just mentioned, they might win, but they certainly have made their job a lot more difficult by staying out and those other cars making a pit stop.
Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart also stayed out. Let's get some pit strategy here first from Matt.
Kurt Busch made the call from the cockpit, Bill. He would like to pit any time after lap 150. They had 17 green flag laps on this set of tires. They could have made it on fuel, but he was just concerned about how long those good tires would last. So that's why they're holding 1 set of tires here in the pits, AB.
Well, Matt, Carl Edwards' team intended for him to pit under this caution. The team intended, but they said they did not communicate that properly to Carl. He did not come in. And now they're wishing they had. Marty?
Well, Alan, for the man in third, Matt Kenseth, his team told him, don't pit no matter what. Don't pit at all, because they said that the later we can take on tires, the better off we'll be. Jimmy Finning said, you know, there's cautions every 10 laps. Let's take a gamble here. See if another one comes out, we'll take on tires later. We'll be better at the end of the run. Okay?
Casey Kane's crew chief, Trip Bruce, just told me they don't think they can make it on, they don't think they would have made it on fuel had they stopped now. And thinks those other teams might be a little optimistic. The 9 stayed out because they'll have to pit yet another time for fuel.
One thing about Kurt Busch, though, is to keep him out there is he's in the lead. He's got the clean air, and I think they're worried about getting that car back in traffic and then losing the handle on it.
We'll see how the cautions fall. Your point was, Benny, that they're going to have a lot of ground to make up, not a lot of time to do it.
But they've got so much traffic they're going to have to pass, because all those cars that just pitted on that last caution flag, the next one that comes out, when Kurt and Carl and Bobby Labonte and Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth, when they pit, those other cars aren't going to pit. Now they've got to drive through all that traffic to try to get back to the front. Sure, their tires are going to be a little bit better, but there's a tremendous amount of traffic to get through to get back to the front.
Currently 18 cars being scored on the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has made his way up to the 9th position after the problems that Allen documented during his pit stop. There's Junior. A week ago Friday night at Daytona.
Oh, wow. He's loving that high line, isn't he?
Dave, what are you working on with the 32 car?
Bill, remember, he started on the outside of the front row and has had a top 10 car all day. He had radio trouble, which brought him to pit road at one point where they changed the radio. But at that point, the crew also realized they had another problem, a cracked header pipe on the car, which means exhaust getting into that cockpit. That is making Dave sick to his stomach. And Wally, I know you've been there. What is it like to try to finish a race with a cracked header in that car?
Well, he's getting all those fumes in there, and it's pretty strong. That you're just inhaling all that stuff, and it really does make you sick. So that's no fun. And it's also probably getting pretty hot in there.
Just past David Green in the 27 car. Pretty unpleasant, huh?
It is.
There's Jeff Burton in the 29 looking back at Tony Stewart, Matt.
Not the day this 33 team had hoped for, Bill. They had the long stop issues refueling the race car. Took forever. Lost a lap. The car just tight all day. A condition that they just cannot seem to cure. They've tried a lot of different changes, significant adjustments. Nothing has seemed to work. The car just pushes.
Now, Tony Stewart, another car that decided to stay out during that last caution flag. The 29 car, Jeff Burton, we saw him stop, make a 4-tire change. He is done for the day, I'm sure.
Burton is 7th, Stewart 8th. Allen?
Well, BP, I won't let you wait there and say, I'm sure. I'll tell you, absolutely for sure. I just talked to his crew chief, Pat Smith, for Jeff Burton we're speaking of. He is done for the day. They can make it to the finish. His only comment on them pitting at that last yellow and the guys in front of him not was, I wish more of them had stopped. Then they'd be back behind us.
Bobby Labonte in the 66, another car that did not stop. So Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart hoping pit strategy goes their way. Burton marching forward, though, and right now things seem to be working for him. Burton completes the pass. Kurt Busch leads. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series live from the Chicagoland Speedway on TNT.
One chance to explain what happened.
We're not lost. We're not lost.
Nightmares and Dreamscapes from the stories of Stephen King. The 4-week television event of the summer. Wednesday at 9. Only on TNT. Presented commercial-free by Hyundai.
What is that?
You know, it must be a piece of tape because the NASCAR flagmen are looking at right underneath the flag stand.
Marty?
Yes, Bill.
Could you run out there and get that, please?
I'm on the way. I'm running right now. Can't you tell? What is that anyway? Wally, did you throw your handkerchief down?
goes Kurt Busch, and there comes Carl Edwards. He's now only a half second behind Kurt Busch.